How about we take a look at what we have on the front page of local daily, starting with the People Daily. But before that, Deputy Governor, Machakos County, Francis Mwangangi is already in studio. DG, good morning and good to see you.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Our neighbors, wako salama?
Salama kabisa? Yes.
Mwatushindia nini huko?
A lot of things.
Yes.
Within the metropolitan, that is one.
Yes.
Although a challenge in terms of transport, but one side a challenge, another side efficient, effective. I'm talking about Mombasa Road towards Machakos, where there is a lot of challenge, you know, between Nairobi and Tala, Kangundo, those areas. So those are a little bit of what is happening there, but also a good environment for investment.
Machakos?
Yes.
I see what you're trying to do there.
Yes.
You're free, go ahead.
You know, we have land, right, where multinationals, even locals, even internationals can come and invest in our great county. So there is a lot of good things. The proximity of the capital, the fact that we have highways passing through that region, the fact that we have a sustainable source of electricity, the fact that we can easily access waterways at the coastal region, makes it favorable for any serious investor. Even an organization that is there that wants to expand makes it attractive.
There's no difference between going to Naivasha and going to Machakos?
There's a lot of difference.
What do you mean?
A lot. When you go to Naivasha, you are going away from the coastal region, where you can access international market easily. But there is one thing I will say. Every part of this country has its own weaknesses and strength. And that is, especially the strength, is where we need to exploit. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. There is what is good in Naivasha, which is not available in Machakos, and there is
one thing
that
about
which...
Machakos is the fresh air.
Yes.
I agree.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at what you have on the front page of the People Daily. Churches, how Ruto duped us. This is what you have on the front page of the People Daily. I hope you have your copy there, DG. Churches, how Ruto duped us. This is on the front page of the People Daily. Is it a case of deal gone sour? Clergy who backed Kenya Kwanza entered an MOU with a candidate which would have seen them rip big after victory, but claim head of state no longer takes their calls. This is what you have on the front page of the People Daily. According to the paper here, there are some of the promises to the clergy. And one of the promises was that there was to be an appointment to commissions, state corporations, foreign missions, cabinet boards, and committees of national and county governments. Number two, there was a promise to nominate to National Assembly, Senate, and county assemblies access to government support and resources. Number four, according to them, there was a promise to have tax waivers and exemptions, formation of clergy circle for empowerment of ministers of gospel, and also formation of quote-unquote registrar of religious organizations, delinking from the registrar of societies. Last but not least, formation of cabinet docket for Ministry of National Guidance and Religious Affairs. And finally, there was to be a facilitation of formation of chaplaincy, mediation and arbitration. These are just but the promises that are highlighted here as part of the promises which were made to the clergy by the Kenya Kwanza. So is it a case of a deal gone sour? See here, the churches here, we have it here. Churches, how Ruto duped us. Is it? That's on the front page. Here again, queries after anti-graft magistrate transferred. That is Eunice Nyutu. Queries after anti-graft magistrates Transferred experts raise red flag over education policies. This is on the front page of the People Daily. Lobby questions the rush to implement e-citizen payment and Munavu team university funding model and JSS. This is how it happens. And now, again, a case of curtain falls on former officer, that is Kingori Mwangi, who passed on Sunday in what the family say was surgery complication. So this is what we have here on the front page of the People Daily. All right, so let me start with you, DG, on the front page as usual. Churches, how Ruto duped us. What do you make of this headline?
It's only a shoe where who knows where it pinches most. I wasn't aware of an agreement with them, but I think in the last election that President William Ruto was really backed by churches. Now that maybe there was something that they had agreed, which I don't know. If at all there was something they had agreed, I think it is good when you always remain truthful to what you have committed yourself to. But sometimes we tend to think simply because one is being supported, maybe there was an agreement. If there was an agreement, it is good if it is fulfilled.
Yeah.
If there wasn't, it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
Yes,
all right.
because we know in Kenya today, any political agreement, any agreement you make, sometimes it is meant illegal by being deposited in certain state institutions. So if this one wasn't, and it was a verbal agreement or it was something written, I think the president should take his time and fulfill what they agreed.
Yeah.
That is what I would say.
Absolutely.
Because by the way, it is a contract of 5 years. And if God is gracious enough to one, the voters will add you another one. But after that, you will go back to the same people whom you either worked well with, or you oppressed, or you worked together to transform the country. So in this case, when it comes to churches or our religious organizations in this country, I think it is good when we are honest, when we are truthful, and when we commit to fulfill anything that might have been agreed upon. Yes.
All right. Also, Winnie Kaburu is already in studio. Winnie Kaburu is a political analyst and a governance expert. Winnie, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Good morning.
Karibu sana. We are just taking a look at what you have on the front page of the People Daily here, where now the churches now accusing government of duping them. Churches, how Ruto duped us? What do you make of this? We've been here and we really saw what happened, and now churches are coming out to say they've been duped. What do you make of this headline, Winnie?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is what Kenyans are talking about. When you have been in elections twice, actually, 2013 and 2017, and in politics, when you are campaigning, you say all good things to people. And after campaign, reality strikes. And what is happening now in Kenya, in the government of the present President Ruto, is that reality has struck. And all the promises are going down the drain. Fortunately, he has got 5 years to fulfill. But it looks like he is putting everything in 1 year. Taxes have gone up, everything is like all what he is supposed to do in 5 years, he wants to do it in 1 year. I think that is the problem which we really have right now. And the Kenyans are not patient because they don't have to be patient when they can't eat, they can't drink, their children can't go to school. Their life has been turned upside down. And anybody whose life is turned upside down is a bitter person or a bitter human being. And it's high time now, Ruto, the President Ruto, our present president, and his advisors went back to the drawing board. and it changed all what they are doing right now, because it is not good. It's not good even for the people who supported him. The churches supported him because he was the man of God, and the other one was a drunkard, and the Kenyans somehow bought that. So this drunkard is better than the man of God, according to what is happening right now.
What do you mean, Winnie?
What I mean is that during the campaign...
In what context?
During the campaign, it's
Yes.
a fact. It's not Winnie who is saying this. It's a fact. We were told in churches we want to elect the man of God. And the man of God was the present president. And the other one was supposed to be the drunkard. But unfortunately or fortunately, the drunkard was doing much better than this man of God. So I am a Christian. And I feel also, I didn't vote to I was a Simeo. So I can't lie, I was supporting the present government. But it's the present government. So whatever happens, whatever laws which are there, I am part of this country, and I'm in this country. So it's affecting me directly or indirectly. And what is happening now is that everybody is up in arms to fight whatever we are feeling is unfair. And to me, because I have to live here for another 5 years with this new government, is that let them go back to the drawing board and see what is wrong. Because people can't be crying day in and day out if there's nothing which is biting them. And you see, especially the taxes. Life has become so expensive. Now the children are not going to school because they can't afford to pay the school fees. If your children are going to school, your grandchildren are going to school, and they can't go to school, even if you supported this government, you would feel like supporting them anymore. If you are going to the supermarket and buying something which was costing you 2,000 and now 5,000 even can't fill a basket, it doesn't matter if you are supporting a Simeo or Kenya Puisha or wherever.
Kenya Kwanza.
Kenya Kwanza, sorry. And now, that is unfortunate because we buy them bread the same price, we buy unga the same price, so whoever even was supporting is feeling the pinch. And to me, my advice is that go back and retrace the steps and see where it's biting Kenyans.
All right.
And that is why the churches are not as comfortable as before. They are not as popular as before. Whatever advice they give today is kind of not being taken seriously.
Very well. Mwathi Reri is also in studio. Mwathi, good morning.
Morning.
It's been a while. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing fine.
Taking a look at what's from the front page of the People Daily here, is it a case of a deal gone south? So the clergy who backed Kenya Kwanza entered an MOU with a candidate which would have seen them rip big after victory, but claim head of state no longer takes their calls. What do you make of this? There are so many promises which were apparently or allegedly made by the candidate then who is now the president, and they're here outlined. But is it something, what do you make of this? I almost asked the question and I hope DJ is a politician and probably would have not liked that question. Go ahead, Mwathi.
True. Actually, the truth of the matter is that the churches or religious organizations are supposed to give directions. And in most cases, these organizations or these leaders, religious leaders, are kind of trusted by the followers or by the voters or by Mwananchi, because it's like whatever the religious leader, whatever my bishop, whatever my pastor, whatever my imam, if I'm a Muslim, whatever he is telling me, that's supposed to be the truth. The current government used that as an avenue of them gaining confidence from the public. And actually, these leaders went in full throttle to kind of tell their followers that this is the person, this is the government, which will just do good to us or which will bring good things into this country. They went further and even criticized the other side and told them these people are ABCD, they are not good. So because of that, that's one of the reasons as to why actually the Kenya Kwanza government took over, or rather their win was somehow easy. But the problem now comes when these people who lead it, are trusted by their followers, and their followers are not seeing exactly what they were telling them at that particular time. There's also a risk of now the followers starting to question these leaders. What did you tell us? What are we seeing? Can you intervene on our behalf? Unfortunately, they are saying that the glue that was there in between them, or rather the kind of good relationship which was there, it's no longer there. So the followers are telling them, can you intervene on our behalf? But they can't reach the people who were so close in churches and in everything.
Yeah.
So it's like the church leaders are between a rock and a hard place.
Yes.
So by now, I think it's a high time that the government speaks the truth. If there's anything that they are doing, they should be able to. The guru that was there in between them and these church leaders, I think they should not just disappear like that. They should tell the same leaders. They should use the same leaders to go to the followers and tell them what is actually happening, because that silence is not good. When that touch is not there, then it means that the touch between the wananchi and the government is getting worse, and it's not good for the government.
It's not good for the government?
Yes.
All right. All right, so that's what we have here, and we all know this is Kingori Mwangi. He was a former police officer, or DG. Maybe you had an interaction with him at some point. We all know his work, and he passed on yesterday, and of course, this is where we have ex-police chief Kingori dies in City after illness. The story says that the one-time senior cop died while undergoing treatment. His family announced yesterday, and here he is. He was at some point provisional police officer in Mombasa, Nairobi, and Western regions in the course of his career. So we're still waiting for more confirmation and more info as far as this is concerned. He was a former senior police officer, Zachary Kingori, who died yesterday in a city hospital. The officer served in various capacities in the service, including the police spokesperson, provincial police officer in Nairobi, Mombasa, and Western regions, director of operations at police headquarters, principal assistant to the deputy inspector general of Kenya Police College, as well in Kiganjo. So, yes, grace to the affected families. And gentlemen and lady, we also waking up to a sad story of Kelvin Kiptum, world record holder who died last night in a road accident. He was ahead of Eliud Kipchoge in last year's marathon, so he also passed on yesterday night at the age of 24. That is a star that was starting to rise for our country, and yeah, we say we cannot control certain things. DG, maybe your word of condolence, because that's our record holder.
First, to the families of bereaved, I want to send my commiserations to them and say, I think the officers in the service, in the National Police Service, should emulate the good work and the skills that Kingori Mwangi applied during his tenure as in various capacities, as you have indicated there. Now, we need to learn the good things. The bad ones, we need to use them to learn how to avoid them, so that we can have efficient, effective National Police Service. But to the family, to friends, poleni sana. To the marathoner who passed on yesterday night, to the families as well, poleni sana, and all other Kenyans who have been bereaved. By the way, I also lost my mom-in-law, wife to the former long-serving Kenya National Union of Teachers National Treasurer, Peter Mutulu. And then I say condolences, because we are told we will go to heaven, and the only way to heaven is through death. But we fear death as human beings. So the bereaved families, poleni sana.
Right. I'll come back to Winnie and Mwathi, but first of all, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us. All right, we are still taking a look at what we have on the front page, but in the spirit of patriotism, this is the picture of Kelvin Kiptum, just 24 years old. He was born in 1999 and died in 2024, 24 years old. So, yes, he died last night in a road accident, and maybe, Winnie, maybe give you a moment of seconds to pay tribute to our compatriot.
I really feel so bad to see a young person dying, because, you know, that is the future. And he was doing very well. And so many young people are dying of late. This one being accident, there have been so many women who have been killed, and you don't understand what's going on. Every time you open the newspaper or listen to news, it's about the deaths of young people. I think it's high time we looked and seen, for example, this is a young person who was doing very well, dies in an accident. Is it our roads which have the problem? Is it the way they drive? Is it the traffic laws which are not being observed? There must be something, and there is a need to check and check actually the real reason why these young people are dying. Women, we understand they are being killed left, right, and center. And nobody is really, the government should have been the first to check on this, because these are very young people. So my condolences to the family and to Kenyans, because this was a Kenyan who was shining. To all the Kenyans and the young people and the families, I am sorry. May God keep his in eternal peace.
As you do that, this is a picture of the wreckage of the accident. This is what happened. It's reported that the vehicle he veered off the road and the vehicle hit a pole. Last night he was driving together with his coach, who is Randis, and they all perished. And it's all reported that another passenger who was seated at the back seat survived the accident and was rushed to the hospital. So this is the scene, and of course you can see police officers there at the scene of what happened last night. Yes, you ready?
Actually, this is not a loss only to the family, it's also a loss to the whole nation and the world at large, simply because Kenya is a sporting nation, and we are known for especially the long distances. And this is somebody who was very promising. We were almost certain that after Kipchoge hung their boots, we knew that this young man was coming. And now it's a loss to the whole nation. Pray to the family, my condolences to the family, also to the family of Kingori Mwangi. Some of us who are in Nairobi those days know what the match has done, and it's a lesson that even the security men should learn actually from the good that he did. So my condolences and the condolences.
And of course, even to DG, thank you, and condolences to you for losing your loved one, your mother-in-law, and may you have grace. All right. Let's cross over to what we have on the front page of the Standard now. The Standard says that tough choices in the face of crisis. Tough choices in the face of crisis. Tomorrow, Parliament returns from its December recess to a defining moment. This is what we have here. The courts have said that the constitution of IBC must continue and not wait for political horse trading. House to debate the National Dialogue Report. Even as Azimio leader, Raila Odinga has said that opposition must be involved in the selection of commissioners, or they resume demonstration. Is it a Solomonic moment for Speaker Moses Wetangula? We all know what happened, and here we have got President William Ruto, Moses Wetangula as the Speaker, and Azimio leader Raila Odinga. Defining moment for the Speaker. As you correctly said, Mwathi, he's in a straitjacket between a rock and a hard place. So what are we looking at this particular moment? DG, we have a tough choice for Parliament, and of course we have got court on this other end, we have got Parliament on this other end. A lot in tray for Parliament as resume tomorrow, DG.
You know, we are at a very defining moment as a country.
Yes.
This is because when you have two political formations that you can say across the republic, the only difference was less than 200,000 votes of the winner and the one who lost. That is very delicate. When dealing with political matters, you have to know you have a 50-50, almost a 50-50 scenario. 50% of the country may be leaning towards those who won, and also almost 50% leaning towards the other side. Now, I would prefer our parliament to be an institution that will come in and first and foremost uphold the rule of law.
Right.
First and foremost, because that is what will hold this country together. Number two, we need not to see partisan leaders and advancing interests of a particular political formation. I would love to see parliament, because when you are in parliament, you are either in a majority or minority. And in parliament, there is no one you can say this one is on that side or this side. We have one national parliament.
Right.
I would wish they put the interest of the country first. The issue of IEBC is very critical. We cannot wish it away, because this is the rivalry of the next election. I would wish we build on what we have achieved so far as a country, so that in the very near future, we continue building on what we have, strengthening our institutions, so that we have more, better, free and fair elections in future. That will not be that highly contested outcome. Now, finally, we have seen the way some policies are hurting this country. I call upon our parliament as they resume to look at some of these challenges, because Kenyans are really suffering currently. You do not have to force your wish, whether as a political entity. It must have, we have a constitution that dictates anything you do as a county government, anything you do as a county agency, anything you do as a national government or national government agency. Please involve Kenyans through public engagement, public participation. I think our parliament should ensure they follow that dictates of the constitution, and ensure anything that is implemented in this country, anything that is done in this country, it is to the interest of Kenyans. It is to the interest of the country.
I love the way you put it, but look at it this way. Perhaps you can also contribute on this one, because we have got an ADCO report which is supposed to be tabled, and debated in Parliament as they resume. And the court says now we cannot wait for political horse trading to elect leaders. We all know there are so many wards across the country and Banisa constituency lacking that super representation. So what should we do? Courts or the NADCO report? That's where we see this gentleman here, who is said to be now should have that Solomonic wisdom. At this particular point, where is he going to strike the balance? Winnie?
Yeah, thank you. I am a political student, and in politics there are always interests, and politics is a game of numbers. Right now what we're having in Kenya is a competition of politicians, and the politicians, some who have been bought, our parliament is bought. It's not free the way it used to be. We used to witness the real debate in parliament, with reasons. Today there are no reasons. Laws are passed against the constitution, which is, which is the worst thing which can ever happen in our country. even if I'm in opposition or in the government, whatever passes and the law passes and whatever happens affects me as a person. And that's what Kenyans are forgetting, that government is there for a season. But the things which happen within that 5 years affect everybody, even children who are not born today. For example, if we are going to have elections, right now we don't have an IBC. There have been so many MCAs, MPs who should be either going back to elections, some have died, others have, so many things have happened. And nothing is happening because there is nothing happening. And now choosing the new ones, the speaker is supposed to have Solomon wisdom. Because if we support the government where he is now serving, it will be against everybody in Kenya. If they go to court, we have known what is happening in courts. Nothing is being accepted, nothing is being, taken as law. So with the Chacha scenario, I'm not seeing Kenyans sitting pretty and saying it's okay, let's go on.
Okay.
So we are going to wait to see so many oppositions coming, either people inside the government and outside the government. Whichever way we look at it, it's going to be a tough war.
A tough war.
Yeah.
Irene.
Yes, it will really be tough, but as a governance expert, I would tend to differ with the DG slightly. Once there is a competition and there is a winner, maybe we should adapt to the issue of let the winner do his part and let the loser do the part of maybe what he's supposed to do.
Right.
There's a government and there's the majority and minority. Maybe that's one of the reasons as to why in our constitution, even in parliament, we tend to, our new constitution, our 2010 constitution took off the issue of opposition and adopted the minority and majority, simply because each and everyone has its own law to pray. Why do we keep on saying the margin was small when it comes to political competition? Yet, when it comes to other competitions, when it comes to soccer, whoever wins, irrespective of how he wins, that is the winner. When it comes to athletics, we know at one time when our own Paul Terregat was defeated just by, they were saying it's like a thickness of a t-shirt, but he was number 2.
A defeat is a defeat.
A defeat is a defeat. So there's no way we will keep saying the margin was small. So if the margin was small, take that advantage and become a stronger minority. So that's an advantage you should take advantage of. Become a stronger minority to watch the government. So we have a government in place which won. If we are saying it did not won, it won, and then we went to court, and the court ruled that there is a government in place. So what we are supposed to, this debate of the margin was small, I don't buy it myself.
Okay.
And when it comes now to what is happening, I also don't agree that what is happening in the court. The court, we should go back and ask, why are these rulings going in this direction? Because the courts are not saying per se that the housing project is bad, all the rulings that they are doing. Most of the times they are working, what they are doubting, or what they are saying is not right, is the process. Before coming to this, did you engage the people? Did you conduct the public participation? If the process was wrong, then they say, no, this is wrong. You should go back at, ratify, and streamline. Take the due process. Yes. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When it comes now to the IBC, just remember that there are some areas which do not have representation for almost a year now. Those people are suffering. We should not let them suffer like that. Just remember that our constitution stipulates very clearly that between 8 and 12 years, there should be boundaries review. Who should do this? It's the Electoral Commission.
That is coming up in March.
It's coming up in March.
Right.
So the process had already started. There was even the advertisement. This should have been going on. Even if we have the commissioners in place right now, they cannot beat that deadline.
Okay.
We'll have to go back now to...
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. All right, let's cross over and see what's happening here on the front page of the Daily Nation, again here. Inside fight for control of 435 billion shillings. This is between the teachers, the TSC, and of course the Ministry of Education. Ministry wants to supervise schools, managers spending billions. 365,000 teachers not exclusively answerable to commission, tussling over 1.3 billion shillings training of CBC teachers. Again, this is a commission sidestepped ministry to draft bill. Bill undermines proposals by presidential task force, and again, who will submit proposed law to cabinet? And finally, TSC demands powerful regional and county offices. So that is where we have the Education Ministry and unions have ganged up against the Teacher Service Commission. The battle lines are drawn between the warring factions under Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu and TSC boss Nancy Macharia. And it's a fierce kind of scramble for a huge education budget. This is what's here. Remember, NAT snubbed a meeting last week, which was supposed to be bringing stakeholders together with the TSC, Ministry of Education, etc., etc. NAT did not attend that meeting. So what is happening here? For control for 435 billion shillings, there's a lot of money in the Ministry of Education. DG?
Thank you. But before I go there, allow me to say there is a term I hear people talk about: context.
Yes.
It is on record that the government has not once, not twice, failed to follow court decisions. That has led to national outcry, including Law Society of Kenya, going out to demonstrate. It is in that context, I said, when you have an election that is perceived to have been contested, if one side says we go out and demonstrate, we have seen how they have come out in large numbers.
Yes.
I have an advantage of having been previously being a lawmaker in our national parliament. I'm not sure my friend could have had such a kind of engagement. I don't know if he has ever been any of them. If we go by his sentiments, he is among the guys who will burn this country within a minute. Viewers should not take those sentiments expressed here. Because when you say we have this and we have to move, and you chest thump, remember, we are in a democratic society, not autocratic. If you want to implement those kind of things, go to autocratic countries where one person makes decision on behalf of the masses. Not in Kenya, where we have democratic governance. So in this case, it is out of this, I said, it is good when leaders consult when it comes to decision making of a country. I did not say simply because it was so closely contested, people should do, no, nobody is interested in those things. So in this case, it is good we consult as a country, and it is also good, even at county level, anything we do, subject it to the masses that you lead.
So
that is the point.
What takes precedence? We have NADCO report, and we have a court case, court ruling that continue. We do not have this
court ruling.
Political horse trading.
Court rulings must be adhered to. Number two, as we navigate to adhere to court decisions, it is also very important we see what does our constitution say. It is in that constitution we say any public policy you implement in this country, please subject it to Kenyans. We have seen before, not even in this administration, since we got 2010 constitution, anything that either county or national government has done without consulting Kenyans, whenever it goes to any judge in this country, we have seen it being reverted back and being told go and ensure public participation, then implement what you want to implement. So that is what I was saying. Rule of law being adhered to as far as our administrators and their policies and their whatever they are implementing is concerned. To the question of the battle of billions.
Just before you get there, I'll also have a question for Red, because you are battling toward there.
Yes.
So we have a situation where now, Winnie, I know you are now torn in between the two gentlemen. But
yeah, I just actually wanted to...
I'll come back to you. But Mwathi, we have... Kenyans went to the streets. Opposition had their word. And we had a National Dialogue Committee, which was, sitting there at the Bomas of Kenya. They had their recommendations. And one of the recommendations was to have these commissioners selected. And there was a requirement on how that was supposed to be done. People coming from different pressure groups. We had Law Society, religious organizations, etc., etc. But then now, the NADCO report is supposed to be tabled either tomorrow or any day, a day after the court, Parliament resumes. So now the question is, which one takes precedence? The court ruling came later after Parliament received the report and they are ready to table it for discussion and for debate. So do you think the court ought to have waited for the Parliament to debate or not? Somebody would ask, where was the court before the NADCO report or before the Bomas discussion that brought up this report to Parliament?
Thank you. The truth of the matter is we should do things which are good for the Mwananchi or for the country, not which are good for politicians, either in the opposition or in the government. What do I mean? The public or the Kenyan government or the Mwananchi would have wanted these commissioners in power yesterday, not even today. They are not in power now.
Reasons why NADCO, that dialogue committee was at the Bomas, was to come up with this.
That's why I'm coming.
Go ahead.
Now, there was already a process. There was already a body in place to vet these people. And the NADCO came, the negotiations, and they came up with their findings and what is to be done. There comes now the court ruling. I think we can merge the two, and it is possible. Because what the court is saying is these commissioners should be in office as soon as possible. That is what the court is actually saying. Now, there is a report which has agreed on some issues, one of them being the constitution of this body. So it will not take time for them to now bring, or rather, go and come up with the people. They wanted to add, instead of 7 to 9. So there are only 2 whom they are adding. It is possible, after this is in Parliament, it is possible to bring the 2, and then the process continues. I don't see it being difficult or push and pull.
I don't think that's what Azimio or the NADCO report really wanted. Because the court said that the commission, the way it was proposed by the Kenya Kwanza, should continue as it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Without the NADCO report.
The NADCO report said that these people should be increased from 7 to 9. True? It didn't say that the LSK should not bring its person, the religious organization not, and all other bodies. It didn't say that. So it's a matter of making this body more stronger. That is the issue. How do we make it stronger? By adding the 2. Where will the 2 come from?
I doubt if that's what Azimio is talking about.
Because if that's not what Azimio is saying, and that's why he started by saying we should do what is good for the country, and not what is good for...
And what is good for the country, in response to what DG said, was the NADCO report recommended that they should have 9 people, as agreed between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Right?
Yes.
The court says that the report should continue. The selection panel should continue before The original proposal,
And
which was floated by Kenya Kwanza.
And the NATCO did not say that the LSKs will not bring their person. They didn't say the religious organizations will not bring their.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we are not overhauling the whole thing afresh. Maybe what the Azimio should say is the person brought by the LSK is maybe is not the right person. If that is the issue, then go back to LSK and bring the right person. If maybe they think LSK was manipulated to bring the wrong person. But at the end of the day, it is a matter of addition of the two. We can take that direction. They can take that direction to merge between the court and the report which is in Parliament. That is the best direction.
I don't think it's about the person.
Right.
It's not what Asmio is talking about. It's not about the person. It's the process, because as Ndiji says, in a democratic country, you can't just say, I have said, this is right. You have to agree, you have to consult, and that is a problem in Kenya today, because people don't want to look at the laws, they want to say, this is what I want, and it is going to happen. In this case, what the court is saying, what Asimio is saying is this, these are not the right people and the right way we wanted it done. Let's sit back again and choose the people, and so that when the elections come, we are comfortable with it. Because that is why we're having fights everywhere. From the schools to the health care to the counties. It's because people want to force things. I grew up in university when we had Moi as our president. And we had the communist power. And we were on the streets. And we were fighting for what we want. It's not about right and wrong. It's what is good for everyone. And we participated, and we did so many things. It's what is coming again in Kenya today, where people are being put food in the, nothing, water in the throat, in the mouth, and don't swallow. That is food. Okay. And you want people to sit down and agree to that. I disagree that the problem of Azimio on this is of individuals. No, it's not about individuals.
That is our discussion. That is forming our discussion next. If we come back after this break, please stay with us. So this is what's happening here, and this is forming a part of discussion. Before we took a break, Winnie, you wanted to say something. I have to come back to TG. Now, it's on the front page, again, inner pages. This is a discussion. Ruto Raila comes in fresh war over new IBC official. Director, perhaps if you have that story, you can play so that we have a background check on what's really happening here.
Detailed statutes or laws, legislative proposals that will enable us to constitute a new panel that will recruit IBC commissioners. The only point of divergence we have with our colleagues, in the laws that we proposed, there is not a single provision in the law that President William Ruto must consult anybody in appointing either the panel or the commissioners of IBC. President William Ruto must follow the law as it is established or as it will be established by Parliament.
Wakati tuliketi chini kwenye ile komiti ya National Dialogue Committee, tulikaa chini na tukakubaliana na tukasema tutapeleka sheria bunge, na hiyo sheria iko tayari. Tuanze debate wakati tunarudi bunge wiki hii, tupitishe sheria, alafu tupitishe tupatie wa Kenya IBC.
So there is that fresh battle to reconstitute IBC. DG, what do you make of that? That is leaders in Kenya Kwanza.
We follow the very fast look at the National Dialogue Committee report, then maybe pass it as the good Kericho Senator is saying. Then we go ahead and recruit our IEBC commissioners. However, I have also, that raises another question. there is this ruling of the court, and I was asking myself, how did it happen? You know, the court is responding to a Kenyan who is saying, we have had for quite a while now some areas in this country without representation. So our national parliament, in my view, I think should look at the electoral laws in this country and maybe change certain provisions so that in future, in the event we do not have commissioners, maybe certain agencies in this country can be allowed to proceed and supervise the election. Or we do it in a way that if it is whichever, other than the presidential election, the rest of the positions, maybe even without commissioners, the managers within IBC can oversee this.
Yeah.
Because it's very sad that we have had almost going for months without some wards, without anyone to represent them. In this country, you know, if President Ruto resigned now, the law dictates, even without consulting Kenyans, we move very fast, ensure the deputy president takes oath of office, and we announce to Kenyans that the president has resigned, or for one reason or the other is unable to prosecute his duties. But already we do not anticipate any vacuum. So we are being very unfair to those areas, whether wards or constituencies, who are going without persons to defend them in their respective assemblies, whether those regional assemblies or at national level. So in this case, I think we need to operate in a way that this process of presentation does not wait until certain people are in the office. Yes, I think Parliament should look at the Elections Act and maybe change so that we ensure the same way at national level we cannot have a vacuum in the presidency. It's the same way everywhere, because these are the same voters who voted for that higher office. Yeah. Yes.
Basically, it's now a rock and a hard place, Winnie. It's time for Wetangula he's in a straight jacket, so to speak. We have got a court report here, a court ruling, and a NADCO report, which is actively being awaited. That is why, perhaps if you ask me, Kenyan stops going on the street because of that report.
I can tell you for sure.
Yes.
If the Speaker, Wetangula, doesn't sit down and actually rule well on this one, we are going to have a very rough time in Kenya. Why? Because when the commission, the meeting was done, being chaired by His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka,
yes,
who is a very, very sober person. And all these people are lawyers, okay? Majority of the people right now in government are lawyers. And whatever they pass, they have already looked at the law itself.
Yes.
And they agreed. This is the way we are going to go. And they are taking this report to Parliament. I feel, and I'm giving my personal advice, let them follow what they agreed at Bomas. At
the NADCO, okay.
Yes, that is the only thing which will save this country. Because if we go on by, oh, this is not going to happen, what I can hear the Unda people talking, that the president has got the power to choose whoever he chooses. I think that's not what is in the Constitution. And if it was, then why didn't they have to have all those months of arguing and, commenting and agreeing and disagreeing, if that is the way it was supposed to be? So really to save this country out of agony and out of what even the DJ is talking about, people not being presented because their MCAs or their MPs are not in office, let's just be sober for once and say, fine, we are all Kenyans and we can't all be ruling at the same time. Let some people come down from the high places and they know that this Kenya is not for shareholders, it's for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what the recommendation, at a glance. Mwathi, the recommendations at the NADCO report says that the NADCO report recommended the establishment of an expanded selection panel comprising here 2 Public Service Commission nominees, all right, 2 Public Service Commission nominees, 3 by political parties, liaison committee, and 1 person from a party other than a parliamentary party. Then again, others will be 1 person each from the majority and minority parties, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, and Law Society of Kenya, while the Interreligious Council of Kenya will not nominate 2 people. So this is what is here, the NADCO report, and this is what's supposed to be debated in Parliament. It did not say that Azimio to only bring 2 people in the report. All right, an expanded selection panel. So which means the initial panel which was instituted was to be scrapped, and then now a new selection panel to be brought on board. What do you make of this? So we have this report in Parliament, and we have a court ruling.
That's true. I belong to a school of thought that says we should not disobey court orders.
All right.
From the start. So we should not disobey court orders. So what the court has ruled should take presidency. However, let us not forget where we are. Let us also remember, before reaching this level, we know there was a time when this body was being selected by political parties. Opposition bring this number, government bring this number. We know what happened those days. What happened was, if you have been brought into this commission by the government, you are studying by the government, irrespective of what the government is saying or doing. If you are from the opposition, you study by the opposition, irrespective of the whatever is there, is on the table, is favorable for the government or for the opposition. You start. So there was no harmony, and that is why we metamorphosized from that state now to come and bring other bodies. At the map of the report, they are not saying, they are not kicking the religious organizations away. They are not kicking the Royal Society of Kenya away. What there is they are beefing it up or making it better, which is good, because the Constitution is a living document. It's not, we should not be stuck or be still at one place. So what should happen is also look at the disadvantaged electoral areas. Look at constituencies which are big population, like Iruiru, for example. They are waiting for this body to come and at least see what they can do to ensure that there is equity. Look at some wards. I come from a ward, from a constituency, from a county, which has a ward which is bigger than other 4 combined. One ward bigger than some 4 wards somewhere, both in area, in population, in voter registration. These people have suffered for 15 years, since 2010 and now, as we go to the next election. They require this body to come as quickly as possible. Also, let us lower our temperatures and know that what is at stake is not the commission that will work on there. It is the panel that will vet this. So, because the way the temperatures are, is like this body will be the decision maker, or rather, these are the commissioners. No, we are not. We have not yet reached at the level of commissioners. Where we are is the panel,
the selection panel,
the panel that will vet the commissioners, and there's a process which now this panel will take. They will advertise just like the others have done. And if in case the panel has a problem, I'm sure all these people brought by all these bodies cannot all be problematic. It's a whole panel of 9.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we should extend this process as much as possible, considering the court ruling.
All right.
The court ruling should carry the day.
Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka was a co-chair.
Yes.
A brilliant mind.
Yeah.
Do you think, together with Kimani Ichung'wah, another brilliant mind, do you think they erred in coming up with this recommendation together with the NADCO team members? Do you think they made a mistake?
I think my own view is that they wanted to have a win-win situation,
Very good.
irrespective of
exactly
whether it's good for the country or not. You remember both parties had brought their issues on the table.
Yes.
Then to take some here Samia.
Yes.
So I think that we would have gotten something better than that if they did not want to balance, take from this side and this side. To me, they would have come up with a process that will not stagnate or take us back too far.
Okay.
Just ensuring or knowing the state we are at.
Winnie is not amused by your statement.
Actually, I'm just lost because if you say these representatives of people wanted a win-win situation, I thought that's what we all want, win-win situation. We don't want to fight. We don't want to go to court. We go to court because it's the only way left. But if we can have that balancing of win-win, everybody in Kenya wants that. You have said a very good thing. Win-win situation. And that's what Kalonzo and his group did. They gave us a win-win situation. So why can't we run with it? Why are you saying that the court should take the... I'm surprised. Anyway,
Okay.
I think that's
I'll give you a break. I'll give you a break. But DG, let's look at it this way, holistically. A situation comes now, that report will be in Parliament. Both sides will debate it and see the merits and how they go about it. I can take it this way. The selection panel, the entire commission will be as good as the selection panel.
Yes.
Because even that process of selecting the commissioners will also be, some kind of a discussion somewhere. I don't know where and how it will happen, but the commissioners will be as good as the selection panel, of which the NADCO report also say, you guys go ahead, because this is a political process, pick your selection panel as you deem fit. So what if somebody says, court, ngoja kidogo, we have a NADCO report, we need to debate on this, and then if we don't agree, then the courts can now come in and interpret this for us. Yeah. So where will we find ourselves as a country? DG?
First point of correction. The National Dialogue Committee and Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka listened to various interests across the country. They sat in Bomas. That's why they took long listening to anyone who had anything to do, to say about whatever was happening in the country that time. We need as a country to ask ourselves, how did we arrive at this team at Bomas? So going forward, I think implementation of NADCO committee is very critical. And it is on the basis, there is a mischief here which we need to cure. And that is what Kenyans went to court to address. The issue of non-representation, delayed, delayed representation. Now, what we need to do is we deal with NADCO report and everything else, including the court case, will be addressed in that manner. Because at the end of the day, we will have a process that will be followed to pick commissioners of the electoral body. So, to me, I think we should, although politics is politics, I think we need to move first as national parliament and ensure NADCO report is debated, passed and implemented, so that this issue of representation, which took us to court, is addressed, and the Kenyans are happy. We are again. Victor, we need a referee who is trusted, a referee whose other players believe in. Sometimes you could be a very good professional. You could be somebody who understands the electoral issues. Remember, giving an example of the late Samuel Kivuitu. Kivuitu is the one who oversaw the election that elected President Kibaki way back in 2002. Yes. But look at again in 2007, 2008. It was the same person, the same commissioners, but this time round, the players seems not to trust them. The issue of trust here in electoral matters world over are very emotive, very critical, very sensitive. So we need also to ensure the process which will come by debating and passing that report, will ensure it is not something that anybody will start casting as passions, somebody will start doubting, so that at the end of the day, whichever the current political formations, even the future ones ahead of 2027, will be in a position to stand and say, I believe in IEBC. Yeah. And that is how to create political stability in this country before, during, and after the next election.
Do you think going to court to challenge that NADCO report was a deliberate move? For the court to come up with that ruling?
Yes, yes. What the court is telling Kenyans is there are some certain policy makers sleeping on their job somewhere. It is pure and simple. Why am I saying this? Why should we have a lacuna where today, as I represent Ward Hair, in the event I'm no longer the MCA, people in that particular ward cannot within a month or two be subjected to pick another person to lead them. So in this case, what the code is saying, they are raising a red flag. Yes. There is something here which needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency, as a matter of critical importance, as a matter of having a national stability in this country. Yes.
What do you really think is now running through the mind of Moses Wetangula? Wherever he is, in his head, what do you think he's thinking of?
I have worked with politically with the speaker, Wetangula. He's a very bright mind. He's courageous. But of late, in the new government, I can't tell you exactly how you weigh this.
Yes.
But I believe, looking and listening to the DG, anybody who cares for this country will do the right thing. And I think he'll look at that report, the NADCO report, very positively. Because this thing going to court, I don't think is for his liking, even for his political future in that parliament. So I'm expecting him to give a very good ruling, and also let the people discuss the issues and the way forward openly, without just being opposition or government. And I'm being positive on this, because it's very, very critical for our country.
You ready?
I think in this kind of quagmire we are in regarding this, the person to give away forward is Wetangula. So we are all looking at him. But one thing we should be happy of is that we are taking this as urgency, or we are discussing it today just because the court made a ruling. Otherwise, before then, we were just...
The NADCO report was sitting somewhere, relaxing.
Sitting somewhere, relaxing, and nobody was looking at it in the direction that we are going to a constitutional crisis when next month reaches and we don't have a electoral commission in place. So before we even start, the court has made this country proud by pointing out that, look, we are almost going to the to a crisis. So for us, because we don't want to, we want what is good for the country. What we think, this is what should take place, and that is why we are there. So at the end of the day, before we even go think of what we take, what the court did was good, and we are already getting fruit out of that. What will happen, in my own analysis, is that at the end of the day, because these are two parallel decisions, at the end of the day, through the parliament, we will see a merger of the two. I may not tell how, but give it time. You see a merger of the two. The court and the National Dialogue Committee.
Parliament resumes tomorrow after a very long recess. DG, having sat there before, what should you expect? A very full entry for the National Assembly. We have got, housing levy here also to be debated. A lot happened over the last 2 months during recess. What should we expect us from tomorrow moving forward?
A number of issues. One, I expect the Parliament to push the executive arm of the government to adhere to the rule of law. They are able to do that. And one way of doing it is even setting a whole day for that discussion, so that whoever within the government, national or county, should follow any court ruling, anything that comes from the court. Number two is to put the interests of the country first. You know, this NADCO report can destabilize the country or stabilize the country, depending on how it is handled. So in this case, I would think our national parliament, both Senate and the National Assembly, should be in a position to save the country. The other point is speakers of the countries where they claim to follow democratic principles do not see nor hear what is happening in the parliament. But they facilitate to ensure members of parliament debate, and when it comes to voting, they vote, and the speaker announces that outcome. Speaker cannot go there and debate. Speaker cannot go there and vote, but he can facilitate and ensure there is a very fair process in arriving at decisions that are pro-country.
Absolutely.
So in this case, I think there is a lot of expectation. Still, the cost of living is too high. We are hearing what is happening within the education sector. It is the national, our national parliament, Senate and the National Assembly, which can call these policy makers from our education sector and sort out whatever is seemed to be a challenge. So there is a lot that needs to be fixed.
Absolutely.
I always say it is like a country we never learn a lot, Victor, because it is the other day when this country was locked down because of this what do you call it, COVID outbreak across the country. Now, across the world, not across the country.
All right.
But now, we seem not, look at how we are handling health sector in this country.
Yes.
It is a devolved function, but still, national government is still holding on the functions and the resources. You don't know.
We have to leave.
Yes, so
20 seconds, Winnie.
yes.
What should you expect moving forward? Tomorrow, Parliament resumes?
Yeah.
10 seconds, kindly.
Okay. I expect the Parliament, the lawmakers, to wake up and realize that Kenyans are expecting positive results from them.
Yes.
Whatever their beliefs are, they are their beliefs.
Yes.
But what is important for Kenyans is that the president gets real good advisors, and he also stops interfering so much with the parliament,
Yes.
and gives them space to debate on these issues without a lot of pressure, so that they can think and do the right thing for Kenyans.
Thank you. You ready? 20 seconds. She's done exactly 20 seconds. Take it, 19.
The parliament, their entry is full. Some of these things are affecting them directly, especially the one we have discussed at length of the electoral commission and all that.
Yes.
We expect them to move with speed and do the country good by solving some of these issues. Thank you.
All right. Director, perhaps there's a clip I want you to play for me here. And DG, I want you to tell me who that person, if you know that person, Director. There's a gentleman here.
They need not to fight another leader. We need to unite tukue kitu kimoja. Ndio Kalonzo aonekane Kericho, aonekane Marsabit, aonekane Mombasa, aonekane kila mahali. Lakini hiyo vita wanataka kuleta hapa, maybe wametuma na opponents. Ndio wakuje ku make sure Kalonzo amerudi nyumbani akuje kutatua maneno ya kisiasa hapa.
Do you know that gentleman?
Yeah.
Do you know that gentleman? We'll talk about that next time. What was happening? Again, in 10 seconds.
We were in a certain function within Machakos County.
Okay.
And that, I was trying to address the local politics.
Yeah.
The charity begins at home. So
And
we need to be united and we move forward.
We got you. Where's the feature? Tutakupata mahali huko. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Francis Mongagi, Deputy Governor of Machakos County. Asante sana for coming. And Winnie Kaburu, asante sana for joining my show for the first time. That was good. And Mwathi Reri, thank you for your insightful kind of comments. And you as a viewer, asante sana for watching. AFCON imeisha. The best team won. I don't know which happened. All right. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.